broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Evil Dead fans! Welcome to another episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, in terms of the AFTERBUZZ recap. How are you all doing tonight?
So great.
Super great.
It's been a great day.
Everything is fantastic. I'm your host, Megan Salinas. Joining me is my fantastic panel, Lex Michael.
Oh, thank you. Hi, I'm Lex Michael. I'm all over the things at the Lex Michael.
Elena Jordan.
I'm Elena Jordan. I'm on Twitter at Elena Jordan and on Instagram at that Elena Jordan girl.
Emma Fyffe.
That's me, Emma Fyffe, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Emma Fyffe.
You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. We are also going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVEvilDead, and once our engineer magnifies it a bit, we'll be able to keep an eye on the live chat as well for those of you watching live at home. But joining us in the studio tonight is a very, very, very special guest, Dana DeLorenzo.
Hey! Hi guys! Hello!
Live studio audience.
What a crowd we have.
I know.
What a crowd we
It
have.
was so great to get this many people out this late on a Sunday night.
I mean,
That's short notice.
It's really special.
You guys have something really powerful here.
Yeah.
Can we just play that throughout the entire... Like, anytime I say something that bombed, like... Yeah! Okay. Who do I need to tell? Steve, wherever Steve is, I just want that to be playing every time. I'm like,
Every time
and
you say
then
something.
that's what happened. And you guys just look, we're gonna.
Okay, all right.
That's a lot of button hitting.
That's a lot of button hitting.
button hitting.
Wait. If we've had a laugh track this whole time, then I've told so many jokes that didn't land.
Oh, this is clearly a commentary on us, absolutely.
I am very upset.
I've gotten that one a few times.
I was like,
I've gotten that one several times.
The one
Normally after a horrible pun that nobody liked.
I've never gotten the pun snare.
Really?
Oh, I have.
Oh, don't worry. You sit next to me.
It's only because we don't have a hook to drag us away that I get that noise.
I will say I have gotten the off-topic button a number of times. Yeah, there's an actual siren alert. I don't want to go into it too much because
You'll get the siren alert.
Oh.
But guys, we are talking to you guys tonight about season 1, episode 2, Bait. So, all in all, I want to know, and Ray was so kind to join us last week, and he asked a question. I want to ask the same question. What was your guys' favorite moment from tonight's episode?
favorite moment from tonight's episode? Oh, it was when we found out that Kelly's mom was indeed a Deadite after Ash punched her in the face and she fell on the floor and she got up and she was a Deadite, and he's like, oh, good, I was starting to feel like a real dick.
Yeah. That was a really good one-liner. It's like, thank goodness for Ash, because otherwise I would be feeling really sad right now.
Yeah, that whole dinner scene was just, that was comedy gold.
I also
right
just
there.
loved right after that, the fight sequence, the way it was shot. You just feel so into it, and you're watching all of these extreme close-ups and these quick cuts, and you're just like, ah!
And it's so claustrophobic with the way the fight choreography was set up. It was so unnerving. So good.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
For me, it is a toss-up between Pablo's delivery, Ray's delivery as Pablo of, I don't want to die like most folks. Between that and your delivery as Kelly of, and this is Ash, someone I never thought would be in my home.
Those writers, they're so funny. And this whole episode, I think I love that all these classic one-liners are coming out. And props to the writers and to Craig DiGregorio, because I promised this to people early on. I said, anyone who's been a fan of Evil Dead, and the whole franchise. There's a whole new book of Ash classic one-liners.
Yes.
Look out for the memes. Like I keep saying, I'm like, there's already gifts. There's already memes.
I feel like every line on this show could be on a T-shirt.
It's our goal. It's our goal. Yes, but and because no one can deliver a one-liner like Bruce Campbell.
No, it's so true.
He has developed this style and his own rhythm and his own delivery that. I mean, I'm in awe constantly that he can so effortlessly transition from this badass in action to this veteran of one-liners back to the badass. I mean, that's really hard to do that flip.
It's so interesting because he's almost like the king of sort of B horror movies, you know what I mean? But at the same time, because they're so intentionally B movie, it's hilarious.
Exactly. And hail to the king.
Exactly.
Right? I was. There you go. But I love too that to say what you're saying about. I mean, Ray's deliveries on everything. I mean, he's in that wheelhouse. He's such a hell of an actor with that. Because he sees where Pablo lives,
right?
And it's that naivete that is just you got to hit it, and Ray hits it every time, and it's a perfect compliment. To Ash.
Exactly, and he fully commits to it. And so I watched the episode twice before we're talking about it right now. And the first time I watched it, I didn't catch immediately that Pablo had taken the book. But when I watched it again, the way he delivered that line, it was so obvious that he was the one who taken the Necronomicon. Because he's like, wait, she took your book.
Right.
That's exactly what she did.
Okay, you know what? I gotta jump in for 1 second because I just remembered what my actual favorite moment in the episode is. I'm gonna split the difference, and it's a moment that involves both of you, and it's at the end where Pablo puts the knife into your dead-eyed mother's head and jumps off of her, and he has this moment of like, yeah, that was awesome, and then he looks at you and he goes,
And then she turns and he's like, can you swear? Or you probably can't.
You can. No, you can.
We like to keep it at the level of the show. So if it's like a kid's show, we all refrain.
We just curse
like
wildly
that.
the whole time.
I like that.
But hopefully there are no small children watching the show.
They should
Either show, yes. At this point, go to bed. It's past your bedtime.
We've already established that was me as a child, so I'll go back to sipping my water.
I love the line where he's just like, "You got your bottle. I was sharpening for you."
That was great.
Yeah.
My favorite was actually the moment where Kelly goes into the room where her mother is and she starts singing Mockingbird because it's direct from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah,
And it was one of the most emotional things in Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
So the fact that they put it into this episode, I was like, oh,
This episode was heavy.
Yeah,
man.
there were also a lot of homages to past things that we've seen in Evil Dead in this episode. I mean, specifically the lullaby portion and the, it seems like mom / in the past, in Ash's case, your girlfriend is okay now, but they're not. And so it was nice to see those things being revisited.
Kelly and Annie would have a lot to talk about.
They would,
I love, too, the line when he's saying that you two have so much in common, that you're so alike. Because he's like, Deadites are after you and you're smoking hot. And I was like, well, there you go. Direct parallels.
It's the perfect way to end that episode. Yeah. Because it's Ash, you could see Ash is trying so hard to be compassionate and to impart some wisdom. And he can only do so by complimenting himself at the same time. And that is the beauty of it. And getting to get out of those moments. And I think that's another thing that this, you guys were talking about throwbacks and callbacks to the franchise, which the whole series does really well. But also without ostracizing a new audience. Like,
Absolutely,
people who are maybe seeing this whole franchise for the first time, Hummingbird or Mockingbird's moment with the song is just as terrifying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, and because they've kept this thing. We were chatting about this a little bit before we actually started the show. Because they have kept the fact that when the Deadites, pretend that they're okay, it's very, very sincere. So that you as an audience member go, are they? Because it's so much about how Deadites really play on human emotions.
Absolutely.
And that's something that you can relate to, and that is terrifying as a person, whether or not you're familiar with the series as a whole.
Well, the way they write this series, too, I love, because it's almost like Easter eggs. For
That's exactly what it is.
It's not, there's certain productions that you see that will have things that you're like, this is
Where
just
it's
fan service.
Yeah.
Fan service.
Right.
And then this is just so good. You're like, you're in the moment. You're like, oh, wow. And it's like a secondary, like, oh, yeah.
What I really like is that with creatures, like you look at Walking Dead, like the zombies, the biggest human thing is like, oh, we can cure them, we can still cure them.
Yeah.
And they worry about that, and that's the moral dilemma. In this show, it's like, they're gone, but nobody knows, and if they release it and make it act like they're actually still in there somehow, and they really prey on your moral obligation to help your mother and help your friends. Right. They really get Dana's character in this episode with that as well. Yeah. It just makes it, it adds a third layer that just makes it really great horror and really, really interesting.
I like that. To kind of piggyback off of that is that the sucky thing is you can save somebody. Somebody getting possessed by a deadite, I mean, they're 99.9% really screwed.
Done.
But it's been done.
It has.
It's been done. Ash was able to, dispel a deadite through the power of love for some reason. And that never got explained.
For some reason.
And a necklace.
But so, seeing that, it's like... It can be done, and that's what makes which makes every time a deadite possesses somebody even more tragic, because there is almost no coming back. But there's hope.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Is there still is that little teeny shred of hope. And you don't want to just go around murdering your friends.
Exactly.
Right. So. But it's also like a risky brain surgery. Like, we have to do a lobotomy.
Right.
You're going to be okay in a way. But yes, with this chainsaw.
You'll be fine. It's possible that you'll be a deranged murderer. Yeah. So it's a risky surgery. Let's go for it.
So in that case, it's like, well, you're losing your head now. Sorry. Yeah. We weighed our options. Oh, Ash is the doctor? Okay, we're going to not even get a second opinion.
You know what's
Dr. Ash.
What's even more tragic about Dana's mom's character is the way they put it out there, is that there wasn't a body. Is that the story about being in a coma could actually have been true, and then the Deadites just found her without her even knowing.
And that's why personally getting to play Kelly and play this role of such a strong woman and such a tough female character, which I am loving, and getting to have this, no bullshit attitude and telling people like it is. To be able to show how much like Ash, when he had his switch, he had a turning point in Evil Dead 1 and 2, and then also in Army of Darkness, where you see where he goes from being this reluctant hero that he ends up being, but where he's just a normal guy, and from 1 and 2 he's not.
He spends the whole first Evil Dead movie trying to just
avoid it. Exactly.
He literally does nothing but look on in abject horror. I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually do anything.
It's mostly 2 hours of him reacting and getting abused.
Right, and he's holding the gun. You're like, just shoot it. And he's like, what do I do? So I think, but you need that because, we're talking about relatability and talking about how with the Deadites, everyone in life has been taken advantage of. That's something very relatable. Everyone, not many people, I would think, like being manipulated. No. So that's how they can humanize that with the Deadites. But then, so for Kelly to have this moment of, you see her, at the beginning in the first episode where she's, just starting to get back in the swing of things. Like, she's lost her mom 6 months ago. She's kind of a little dead inside. She's numb. Here, all of a sudden, they never found the body. Oh, my mom's back. Everything's amazing. She looks great. Only to then have it turn again. It's that genius of this series that makes everyone realize, oh, wait, that could be me, or I've felt that way, or whatever. No wonder she's going to join it.
While still placing it in the context of something that would hopefully never happen.
Right. And it's easy. I mean, with a show with so much going on, with so many laughs, for example, this is really dark. If you put any thought into this at all, because you, as far as you're concerned, you lost your mom. Now it's just you and your dad. All of a sudden, you get your mom back, except it's not your mom. It's a demon who kills your dad in front of you, and then you have to watch demon mom die. so you lose your mom again.
I mean, that really, it pulls your heartstrings, but yet it's also funny in the midst of all that. And I have to give props to our director, Michael Bassett, because he really wanted to find that balance for the episode, but specifically for Kelly, because that she has to teeter on both sides of the vulnerability and the strength, and the comedy and the tragedy, and not going too far in one direction, because then it wouldn't be the show. You couldn't have this, terms of endearment moment at the end.
Of course.
So he was so good about just guiding me and guiding everybody, but from my point of view, to just not go too far one way or the other, and just make it so that it's still in this world, in this ridiculous, ludicrous world of Evil Dead, but also making it real.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the direction on the episode too, because I thought it was noteworthy that, of course, you had Fede Alvarez, who did the movie remake, reboot, what have you. But this is the first Bruce Campbell starring iteration of any Evil Dead anything that Raimi didn't direct himself.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? That's what props to Michael Bassett.
Well, and the transition
no pressure
is
whatsoever.
But the transition is seamless from one episode into the
I'm
next.
so happy to hear that. I mean, I think so, and it makes me really happy. It makes everyone happy to hear that from the fans, because Michael did have the toughest job. We just came from working with Sam and having this, and it's the first episode. I said to him, I would not want to be in your shoes right now. And not only did he hit it out of the park, and also he directed 3, so you'll see that next week. But he wrote an episode of this season.
Oh, wow. Nice.
They've already put that out there, so I feel like I could say it. But he wrote, I believe it's episode 8.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's probably one of the best episodes of the season. So because what's so great about Michael is he was already a fan of Evil Dead. So when you have a fan who is I've been saying all along, the best part about everything with this show, whether it's coming from the network or coming from Sam or Bruce or the writers, the one thing I keep saying is that everyone is so passionate about telling this story, and people really care, and everyone involved gave 150%. And when that happens, that's the magic sauce, because then if we're having that much fun putting work into it, I feel like the audience will respond accordingly.
You can absolutely feel it while you're watching the show.
So with Michael, to be a fan and then come in and do that, he really wanted to give give himself what he wanted.
I mean, that must have been a dream come true for him.
He was geeking out so hard when he saw the Necronomicon. It was so adorable. I loved it. He took a picture with it.
I actually had somebody tweet a question at me for you, Dana, which is, what is it like working with Bruce on Ash vs. Evil Dead?
I love this.
Yeah.
I never get tired of that question, because I can't say enough about the guy. Honestly, I will say to anyone who's a fan and who already liked him, Bruce Campbell is exactly what you want Bruce Campbell to be, only better. If you can even imagine, because he is all the best parts of what you've seen him, whether it be in interviews or his roles. He is so damn funny. He kept us laughing. It was hard enough not to laugh filming the scenes. Like when he said, in this episode, I had to cut up with my chainsaw arm. I good thing my back was to camera, because I had to cover my face every time.
The delivery of that line was
that whole scene was amazing. I happen to be a hunter, and I've never seen a deer explode.
You're not hunting the right deer.
Exactly.
So good.
And so he is so funny. It's so great, and was so awesome to us new kids in welcoming us. Yeah. And all we had to do was follow his lead. Yeah. But also he's really kind and really nice, and just it was funny how life imitated art, because he did become a real mentor as we were filming. So he's awesome. That's all I gotta say. I could do a whole show on how awesome Bruce Campbell is, and I just feel very lucky too, because everyone on the show, we just have such an innate chemistry. I absolutely love Ray. I'm so lucky to have a partner in crime like him, who just keeps me laughing in his own right.
I have to ask you, because he
was about to get serious.
alluding to, before when we had him last week, this Kelly Pablo will they won't they dynamic with Kelly's parents just being violently murdered in front of her. I feel like that is the furthest thing from her mind at this point, but
you are very astute. They have such a great relationship. on the show because the idea is they were friends and neighbors, and he got her the job at Value Stop. That was her first day.
Right.
And she finds this new kind of family now with Ash and Pablo, but even at the first episode, she's coming into this looking at Pablo like a little brother. That's sort of what they had set up, where it's like she's not in that mental space right now. She's still mourning a loss. Whereas, which makes it even funnier when he just, I'm here as your friend, Kelly. God, but I love you. But I love you, Kelly. And she's just like, I love you too. That's my brother. But as you know, they
puppy dog eyes.
He does, and but that's the thing is Kelly is like, she marches to the beat of her own rock and roll drum. Like, she has dated the jerks and the bad boys, and that tends to be her thing. So in her eyes, Pablo's just so sweet, but as they go through this journey, there's a palpable chemistry between them, and you'll just have to see what happens. We'll have to see if Pablo's charms can break down Kelly's walls.
Without giving away anything, just as an actress and as a fan of the show yourself, are you rooting for them to get together?
I mean, I'm rooting. Here's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Pablo in every aspect because he is so... he is instantly lovable. I mean, I watch it and I instantly just want to jump through the screen and cheers for him and say, "Come on, you can do it." You can do it. I think it's his valiant effort that I will cheers because also, you should not shit where you eat. That's another thing I've learned. my classy ways.
Not to put too fine a point on it.
Not to put too fine a point, but it could be tricky being on the road.
Yeah.
And so, you got enough here's what I think Kelly's point is, and I kind of agree. You got enough problems. You're trying to save the world from evil. Let's not.
Exactly. You got 99 problems, and a Pablo ain't one.
Yeah.
It's
and
all
it's
Jedi.
Then it's like, this might seem like a great idea in the moment, but if things go awry, there's maybe only 3 people who are going to survive this Deadite invasion, so this could get real awkward.
We actually had a question on the hashtag last week that we didn't get a chance to talk about. But it was basic, and I don't have it up right now. Here it is. From Mystico Gandark. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes.
But this person on Twitter wanted to know what we would all choose as our weapon of choice if we happened to lose a limb. And I'm posing that to everybody in the room. I picked arm cannon, like a Mega Man type arm cannon. That's what I would choose.
I want sword hands, but hands that transform into swords.
Like the T-1000.
Yeah, like T-1000, exactly.
Oh, I don't even know. I want a weird Edward Scissorhand Mega Man arm cannon. I would just want to be the Inspector Gadget of missing limbs and just have a whole Tarantino-esque.
You can't pick all of them.
Yeah, I was listening to this and I was thinking something along the lines of motorized shotgun that fires swords on my arm. That's where
I can be the Swiss Army knife of weaponry if I want.
Can we surgically attach Bruce Campbell to your arm?
I would be A-okay with that.
And he himself has a shotgun arm and his chainsaw arm and his shotgun on my arm, so I just go like this and I have him fight my battles for me.
This is so meta. It's too meta. It's so I can't even take it right now.
How about you, Dana?
I love
what would you choose? Would you go the chainsaw?
I don't know. Foghorn. I don't know. Just to drown out the sound of my own voice.
I was gonna say so people can just find you more easily.
I mean, the foghorn though, if it's held too long, it gets really annoying.
You're right. You might actually just.
People would just run away. It would be.
Nobody could attack you because they'd have to drop their weapon to cover their ears and run.
I wasn't even thinking that deep, but thank you.
I mean, if nothing else, it would put a Deadite off. They'd be like, "What's happening?" And then you could attack.
They would probably. I mean, that would last for.
And then I would come in with all of my weaponry.
With your Bruce Campbell
and then
arm.
Be like, now they're all gone, and also Bruce is here.
And then someone can come in with a big bazooka, and then everything's taken care of.
My arm says groovy sometimes.
And then my liquor cannon will come out, and we'll have a big party.
Liquor cannon
all around.
Are those invented yet? Get on it.
They should be.
Liquor cannon.
We have a question from the live chat. Were you guys surprised when it was renewed for season 2? Right before the world premiere. It hadn't even aired yet.
That is a great question. And surprised and overwhelmed and so excited and just, I mean, I think I fell on the floor and just cried, screamed, laughed. I mean, especially in this business where everything is very fickle, to have a network believe in your show so much that they say, well, we're not even going to look and wait and see. We got it, season 2. I mean, and right as I found out, Ray called me and we were like screaming on the phone. It's just the best feeling in the world. But then, and also because we just love being on the show and we're around such awesome people. And I think for me, this is my first big thing. I've worked in the business, for 8 years, but nothing on this level by any means. And I've, wanted to be an entertainer since I was 3 years old. So to be a part of something that is the most enthusiastic fan base, I have to wrap my mind around the fact that the reason we are even here having this conversation, speaking about meta, if we're having the fact we're even having this conversation is because of fans that pestered Sam and Bruce enough every year after year after year. Is remarkable, and I'm just in awe, and getting to meet the fans and see the fans and hear the fan reaction. I got a front row seat to this whole thing, and I'm just loving it.
That's awesome.
I was going to say, so Megan and I were both at the premiere. Did you get to interact with many of the fans? Because they had this whole huge fan event. There was a concert and a screening. Did you get to interact with a lot of the fans at the event?
We were, right at the beginning, that was the first thing I got to do when I got out of the car and went straight up to them. And I was like, can I just shake all of your hands? Like, thank you for giving me a job. Thank you. But then after that, it was a lot of I think that's when I saw you guys and doing interviews and stuff. So we were kind of separate from that. But what was really great, and I don't know if Ray brought this up, but at Comic-Con, getting to be in the theater when they announced that they were going to do a surprise viewing of the first episode to 2,400 people. First of all, we weren't even in the actual we were behind cinder blocks, levels away. The building shook to the point where we couldn't even hear what's going on. The minute the building shook with roars and the energy was in Ghostbusters when they play the music and the slime and everything gets electrified. And when Ray and I look at each other and we said, well, we have to go see this. And being there and watching that with these fans who were so excited and were so receptive. I mean, I wish there was a word for it. It's overwhelming and wonderful. Yeah. In the best way. So I thank you, fans. Thank you. We love you. We love you.
It's true. Again, that's the reason this show is happening in the first place.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, and forgive me, I don't recall if we asked you this when we were at the red carpet. I'm sure
I won't remember. I was so what is happening? It's fine.
But I wanted to know, for maybe those of you who didn't see our interviews, what was your connection to Evil Dead prior to getting the job?
My connection to Evil Dead, I don't know if I'd call it a connection, but I had seen Army of Darkness, and way back when, and every one of my guy friends in my life has quoted that. I mean, I've had ex-boyfriends, say these sweet nothings that I thought, oh, that's so cute. No, they were quoting Ash Williams that I found out later. Here, I thought, she bitch was my term of endearment. But so then when I sat down to watch the first two, because I grew up loving horror. Actually, I read every Goosebumps book, which I'm very excited to see the movie. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. Don't tell me.
We'll talk after.
Okay, I want to talk about it. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Never missed an episode.
Yes.
Oh my. By the way, they're on YouTube. You can go back.
Yes.
They're actually, I watched some of those
to
prepare. I was with Craig DeGregorio, the showrunner, and we were watching stuff because I was like, can we watch a little?
It's amazing.
Because in a way, it's not even remotely, but for me, as someone who could draw on something from my childhood that affected me, if you go back
Watchers
and watch
Woods, the one with the three
the
witches, that is straight up Evil Dead.
It is so, isn't it?
It is.
And then,
it's my favorite one.
The one that haunts me too, I still have nightmares, is the mall. When the mall shuts down, he gets trapped in the mall.
Oh, yeah.
And then the mannequins. Okay, sorry.
That one is intense.
But the woods, you're exactly right.
Watchers Woods. If
you
haven't seen it, go look it up. Watchers Woods. I remember it.
On the
Are You Afraid of Dark?
Sorry. Anyway, I'll answer your. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'll get back to the question. So anyway, I sort of capped out at horror when life got too scary, and I'm like, I don't want to be scared anymore for fun. So then when I sat down to watch Evil Dead, I watched the trailer by myself. I'm like, it's from the 80s. I'll be fine. I can watch it. I couldn't watch it. And I'm like, no, come on, Dana, you're a grown woman. You know this is fake. It's fine. I started watching the movie and I panic. I can't. I call my friends. I'm like, you got to come over tomorrow and watch this with me during the day with the lights on. And that's what I had to do. And so anytime you see my character afraid in the season at all, I'm not acting because I am legitimately I was terrified filming that scene with the great Mimi Rogers when she turned dead-eyed in this episode. I was terrified. That moment when I turned around and she's singing, she really sat there and sang. And I kept picturing Evil Dead 2 and Henrietta. I'm like, I can't. So I'm doing very little acting.
You were so good in this episode too.
Oh,
like this was a very Kelly-centered episode, which I think really cements your character in the Evil Dead franchise to just a whole new degree. But we all talked about our favorite part of the episode. What was your favorite part to film?
Favorite part to film
and watching.
Okay, I will say favorite part to film because my favorite part to watch is still that car scene with Bruce and Ray. Sorry, that is epic. If there ever was a time to say the word epic, it was that scene. Every time, and the lines in there, and the moist towelette after. I mean, that is. But my favorite scene to film was that dinner table scene with that volley between Bruce and Mimi Rogers. I mean, it's like August Osage County on steroids. I say, because it was so intense, and being part of it and witnessing it, and then watching these two just pros go at it back and forth. I mean, it was so good, and I had the most fun being there that day, and that was one of the most anticipated scenes for me to see how it all turned out, because it was.
How do you not just sit there at the table like?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Oh wow.
Oh, I definitely did. Luckily, those were times when the camera was mostly just going back and forth between them.
Going back and forth between the two of them.
Because they were just that energy and that chemistry, and even the guy who played my dad, Phil Peloton, was so good without even saying a word. Just that look of, I like fishing. Say it about you, Dad. Let's just reenact the whole show. But that was
the
definitely
one-liners. I'm telling you, T-shirts every show. 25 new T-shirts are printed.
Yeah, I like it. We should do this. We should get into business. Not in the blood business. We'll get in. I read somewhere today.
I was actually going to ask you about the fake blood formula, because you guys get covered in a lot of fake blood.
We do.
Did you guys have different variations? Because there are a lot of different ways to make fake blood.
Yes, and they never told us that recipe. I think you have Jill Marie Jones on, who plays Amanda Fisher next week.
Yes.
We do.
You ask her all things blood, because she had all different kinds of blood on her, and she likes to say, like, I don't want to, because she has a great line about it. She's a blood expert. Just tell her that she has some education. She's gone to grad school for blood. Let's put it that way.
I will reserve my blood questions for her.
Yes, but I can tell you that it is always sticky. It is not terrible going on. It's when it dries.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it becomes like a hard wax in a way. And if you have hair, forget about it, long hair, because then, chunks of my hair would be ripped out on, just like turning my head on my own skin. It's not the getting on, it's the getting off.
Yeah.
And many, many showers later, and shaving cream and alcohol, we were trying all these things to get it off. Like, chemists couldn't get it off. And then, it would be Friday, and that would be whatever. We'd have blood on us, take a couple showers, go through all it, go out to dinner, we're all out, and you think you got it all off, and the waitress comes up. It's like, oh, what can I get you? And just stares at you because you don't realize you forgot to get the back of your neck, or it didn't come off, and you're like, all this steak rare. It's fake. It's fine.
You heard the Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones got stuck to a toilet seat because of all the fake blood?
Yeah.
I did not hear that. I believe it though. It's that blood. You need any waxes done. You're gonna get them in places you don't even need. And unfortunately for me, at this episode, I was wearing that very flash tancy, like Kelly cut her own sweatshirt, living at home. It's fine. And so the blood was there was not an inch of my body that wasn't covered. It was in my. It was great. It looks great. It's part of the job.
It does. It's very effective.
It comes out looking great. You guys suffer for your craft, but it looks great on the screen.
On top of which,
it's great.
When you go out and you get the side eye from somebody who sees the blood that's left on you, how many people in the business can look them dead in the eye and say, "Oh yeah, Mimi Rogers tried to kill me"?
Right, but you can't say that.
Yeah.
When you feel this is all, So what? But that's a good. Now I can say that.
Exactly.
And now you can be real wistful about it. You can be like, "Oh, this, reminds me of the time Mimi Rogers tried to kill me."
Reminds me of the time my mom's head got chainsawed off in my bedroom. No, but and also I'd like to give props because Mimi Rogers, man, I think she, as that Deadite, was so insanely good. And you said some lovely things, and thank you for those comments, but really it was really just playing off of Mimi. She made it effortless. I mean, within the first day I met her, she was already acting like my real mom and giving me advice in the business, and we just, we were in New Zealand, so I was away from my real mom, so it was really nice to have somebody play that figure. And
until they were decapitated.
And no one even knows this, but this is what a pro she is. She had thrown out her back like the day before, and she was sick as a dog when she had that Deadite makeup on. Sick like when you are just like fever, stuffy nose, your flu. You would never know it. She never complained once. She was in that makeup chair getting that Deadite makeup on for 4.5 hours. That is a testament to how awesome she actually is, because no one would ever know. She never said to anybody. But I knew. I knew because I saw her beforehand. Like, like, oh my God, baby! I'm so sorry.
Well, she did such a phenomenal job that there was a point in time where I was like, maybe she is alive. Maybe she's not a Deadite.
I had a moment like that as well, where, and I think that once again, it's it's a testament to the reality that they create within this fictional world, and really tugging at those human heartstrings by making it, and of course this has a lot to do with Mimi's performance as well, but it is believable for just a moment that maybe Pablo is right. And of course you also just want Pablo to succeed.
And you like Kelly so much, and you really want Kelly to have her mom back.
I knew as soon as you said, I'm just happy
for once.
That's
it's
it.
like, well, now everyone dies. Now everyone dies violently, and there you go.
I was thinking that wouldn't it be like the biggest slap in the face to have her actually be her mom and to have Ash attack her by mistake, and then Ash looks like even more of a jerk than
which would still be funny, which is funny in itself. It's another way the show could have gone.
Hilarious.
For sure.
So, Ray was telling us a little bit when he was on last week about filming in New Zealand, and I have to ask, what is it like down there? Because it just sounds amazing.
Oh, it's just awful. There's no nature anywhere.
Too New Zealand.
We were in a hole. No, I was just talking about this, how lucky we are to film in New Zealand. Like, I've never been anywhere really in life, and to get to be in New Zealand, I mean, it is everywhere you look is a postcard. Everywhere you look, and it's just beyond the beautiful scenery. And we weren't even in what the local Kiwis say is the beautiful part, which is the South Island, which is where Lord of the Rings was. We were in the North Island, in the biggest city in Auckland. But when Kiwi's like, "Oh, you think this is beautiful? You've seen nothing." And I said, "But there are sheep, and everywhere is water." And that was 20 minutes outside of this great city that I kind of think is like San Francisco meets Chicago meets Seattle. Just wrap your mind around it. Just don't think too hard about it, but it's true. And it was exquisite. And the people, though, think Midwest, and where people will just, I was lost one day, and they're like, "Oh, I can't do the accent at all," but they're like, "You need some help," and just it's so beautiful over there. Their quality of life is excellent over there. So I can't say enough about it. To my Kiwis and our awesome crew. We have the best crew. We have the best crew in the business. The attention to detail in this. If you even know the stuff that was in that kitchen or in Kelly's room, in the drawers, I mean, they're phenomenal.
And I was going to ask you, too, because I saw that you were tweeting pictures of Kelly's rings.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yes. Hashtag Kelly's rings. Hashtag behind the screams. I like to say behind the screams. That's a fun little Easter egg that happens in this series. That was the genius idea of our wardrobe designer, Barbara Dara, where Kelly's whole background, which no one will ever know this, but also I'll tell you, is she's very resourceful. She's very smart. She makes her own jewelry. She cuts her own T-shirts. She does all that sort of artistic stuff, which comes in handy when she needs to be very resourceful with the Deadites because she can turn anything into a weapon. I'm just going to tease that. Turn anything into a weapon. But with the rings, just something fun like that. She made these rings that the costumer came up with. In every episode, spells out a different word. It's always 4 letters, and it spells out a different word pertaining to Kelly in that episode. And I got to have some input with that, and we only had so many letters, but it was like that fun, Sunday morning newspaper game where you're like, how many?
It's like Scrabble, but for your fingers.
For your fingers, right, with these many rings. So, it's, I don't know if you can always see them, but in the first episode, it was wearing free, which you don't need to know the whole explanation behind it, but like I like to think, she's finally getting out there into the world, getting a job, or it's also the price that she's going to charge somebody because she hates value stop. So you want this? It's free. Like that's what she was saying, like in the beginning when Ash looks over at her for the first time. It's free. Take it. Who cares? And the second one was here because she was here. Her mom was here. She was home. That kind of thing. But they're very interesting if you can catch them. They might even give something away. So I'll say that was our genius costumer. So it's fun. It's fun little stuff.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for that.
I'm gonna be really agitated when there aren't close-ups of your hands.
Yeah. I'm sorry in advance.
At L Daryl on Twitter tweeted a lovely artwork of you and Bruce and Ray at me. I'll tweet it at you so you can
tweet it at me.
See it. Yeah, it's a great little caricature.
Oh, I wonder if I've seen it.
You have an axe.
Yes, I saw that. I retweeted that.
Yes.
Hold it up. I think it's the same one I've seen.
This one.
Yes. Yeah. That was I love it. I want to frame it. It's so cool. I love the fan art. Keep sending it. It's amazing.
Everyone who's watching the show, listening to the show on iTunes, I'll tweet it. I'll hashtag it with the ABTV Evil Dead so you guys can all make sure that you see it.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so fun.
I do want to touch a little bit. It was a very small part of the episode, but I do want to touch a little bit on Amanda's story. Just because. Yes. Especially in the first episode, with Ash's storyline, it's very much the comedic, action, fun storyline. With Amanda's story, it is very much getting back to the roots of what makes these Deadites so horrible. And it's the darker, the horrible effects that it has on somebody who doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. And for some reason is being roped into this, and we don't quite know why yet.
Well, and a lot like Kelly, her world just completely imploded. But unlike Kelly, she's alone.
Right.
Yeah. I do like that this episode only had little bits of her story, because with Kelly's storyline being so heavy, I feel like if they had intercut the same amount, you would just be like, this is too much for me.
That's a very good point, and that's why I think, props again to Craig and the writers for making this something that can have a little bit of a delayed gratification. Like same with Lucy Lawless's character. You can't do everything at once, otherwise it's gonna be a stew of just what has happened.
And you just see that scene of her in front of the bookstore and you go, I want more, fast forward my life to next week.
Exactly. And I will say next week Amanda Fisher is very front and center, and I just also would like to say, because I love all my scenes with the boys, and Ash and Pablo are Kelly's boys, Bruce and Ray are my boys. I love it. We had such a great time. But next week is one of my favorite scenes of the season, because I got to film it with Jill, and to have a scene with her, she is so phenomenal in it, and it was effortless. We've just talked about it the other day, still thinking about that scene. It was just so good to have a little bit of drama and play off of each other and be so present with each other. So I'm excited for you to see it. But I can tell you, Amanda Fisher, she is coming in and coming for Ash and coming for us. And things are coming for her, so she's gonna be in the mix big time, right. And then Lucy too.
Because the Deadites said, "We know who you are" in the last episode.
Which makes me think that it's not just she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I feel like this is deliberate.
I agree.
Although I will say that I had a theory last week that the Deadites don't want Ash dead. necessarily, like they need him for something. I'm less inclined to believe that now because they were so adamant about trying to kill him.
Yes, well, in this episode, Kelly's mom, Deadite, definitely did try to kill him.
He almost blew his head off.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mr. Roper did too, but I feel like that was just personal.
Thanks for the heads up.
That was so.
I wasn't sure if he meant it like that. But then he was sure he meant it like that.
God, oh good, it's Ray's delivery of those lines. It's like just an Oreo cookie where it's just you like the cookie, you like the cream. I don't know. I always relate everything to food because I'm Italian, and they're both of their deliveries are just perfect. It's so fun to watch those two.
We have a comment on the live chat. # Kelly is MacGyver. I like that.
I like that. All right, I'm gonna start using that.
I like that.
All right, we gotta wait and see
She's like a
if she
fashion
does.
MacGyver.
Can I ask you guys something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have missed something. I know there was the fly that flew across the face.
We were talking about attention to
yeah.
detail. That was a great indicator that she actually was a Deadite.
Yeah, and I was thinking there might have been something else that I missed, but then I just realized it was probably just Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell and punching the mom in the face. So was there other little hints?
There were two very slight things that happened that if you weren't listening to the episode with headphones, you would miss.
Which I did, and I said, I'm like, I've heard so much more in this episode hearing it with headphones.
Turned up to the crazy volume.
Right.
But one thing is that every time the Necronomicon is shown on
there's
screen,
the whispering.
there's this really creepy whispering that doesn't get closed captioning, so I'm guessing it's not English. But the other thing was that when we got a shot of Kelly's mom, there was this weird gurgling sound.
Yep.
And so it's like, something's not right here.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. But only when I was watching with headphones.
Right.
So yeah,
Good
Stephen,
sound design.
you absolutely did. There was something there. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yep.
And then in case you missed it, Ash punches her in the face.
After watching blood drip down that then isn't actually there. That was the subtle hint for me.
Well, the punch, really. The punch to the face was the one moment where I thought, oh, maybe he's wrong. But then, of course, they immediately double down and she pops back up and starts trying to kill everybody.
Because it came right out of that moment of we'd seen the blood dripping down her face and then it wasn't there. And we'd already seen in the first episode Ash imagining a Deadite where there wasn't one. So,
but then ultimately Vivian also got her head cut off.
True.
So
Exactly.
I trust Ash seeing whatever he sees that's Crazy Town Banana Fans.
But also, just talking about the way they shot this, every now and then when they're having this back and forth between the two of them, there's a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
And so it's meant to make, the audience feel like we're a little off kilter, and it's like, well, is this actually what we think it is, or is this Ash's skewed perspective?
Well, also a fun little Easter egg, I just thought of it now that I don't know if people noticed, but it was in the script that when he said, so what are you trying to do and now, Mom? And she says, oh, just get back to normal. And he says, normal, what's normal? And then the light flashes.
Yeah.
Did you notice that then Kelly's mom is actually closer to Ash, and that's why he kind of looks down and wondering, did her chair just completely move?
Yeah. He's like a hair closer.
Just a little bit, because you can see if you look based on where the candles are, she's on one side, and then all of a sudden she's on this side a little bit.
I'm going to have to watch it again.
I'm going to have to go back and just CSI zoom in on rings and
at that point, at best, Kelly's mom is weird.
Yes.
Sure. Don't be mean to my weird dead mom.
Yeah, it's too soon, man.
Too soon. Well, guys, we are running a little short on time. We should probably go ahead and dive into predictions for next week.
All right.
Do we have a sound effect for predictions?
Yeah,
But now, there it is. Your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Because that is my favorite part of any given AFTERBUZZ recap.
Is the prediction
show.
The light show.
Love the light show.
My favorite part is the accompanying jazz.
I know.
Jazz hands.
You all did it. It was great. I'll do it.
Every now and then I'll also do like,
Hey,
you're just on the sound effects tonight.
That's amazing.
Or the button.
Predictions for next week.
So it looks like Amanda has beat them to the punch.
Yep.
She's at the bookstore before they are.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that it looks like the entire next episode is them at the bookstore. I thought the bookstore was like, it's going to take us episodes and episodes to get there because we're going to have to fight all these Deadites along the way, but they get there right away. That's pretty interesting, and it looks like we get more of Lucy Lawless' character as well.
Yeah. I'm predicting that we'll get a little more of the Amanda tale, and we'll get to see. And I also think that we're gonna start to see Kelly becoming an Ash-like figure, because I mean that was sort of the end of this episode, was him accepting her as being kind of the new him in some ways, and so I'm excited to see her start to turn into a total badass hero that I know she's meant to be.
That is exciting. Elena?
Just more one-liner t-shirts. Never enough.
Just take notes.
I predict my whole wardrobe will be nothing but self-printed Evil Dead one-liner t-shirts from this point forward.
Yeah, seeing Amanda's story intersect with the three of you guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys start to function more and more effectively as a team. Absolutely, because so far Ash has been taking care of business, Pablo's been trying to help, but is largely ineffectual, and you've been left to be in the middle of it and try and figure out what the hell's going on at all times. Now, moving forward, I'm excited to see the two of you guys step up a little bit more and start going toe-to-toe with the forces of evil the same way that Ash does. My wild outside prediction is that you guys are probably going to get covered in blood again.
That is outrageous. Where would you draw that conclusion?
I'm predicting that the poor guy running the bookstore, he's gonna be dead by the time.
Something terrible is going to happen to that person.
Fate worse than death. It's gonna be awful. I like that this has very much been cemented as the three of you, because Pablo very much looks up to Ash, whereas Kelly's gonna be the one to keep him in line.
Yeah, I agree.
Very much so. And I think we're gonna find out why exactly Lucy Lawless's character is after Ash. What is it going on with Ruby's life that is making her hunt him down? Yeah. And I believe we have a question in the booth.
Yeah, I have one last question, because last week on the after show we talked about how it didn't seem like they were throwing to Army of Darkness at all, and we were wondering if that was because of contracts or anything. Do you know if later in the season we'll get more references from Army of Darkness, or are we cutting that out of the kind of historical franchise of this season?
I mean, I don't want to misspeak, and I don't want to give away anything good that would be coming, but I do know that Sam and Bruce have talked about that Army of Darkness. The reason why they're not making direct references to it, it's a different studio. It's a rights issue. But so we're finding ways. You know, they're finding ways to get around it. I mean, they said let the boomstick do the talking.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know, I think if this episode showed fans anything, it's that if you are already a fan, you're gonna get those Easter eggs. You're gonna get those callbacks, and you're also gonna see this new, older Ash. With new people now that he's got tagging along whether he likes it or not. Yep. You know, he's no longer a lone wolf, and he might hate it, he might like it. We'll see, but either way, they're there to stay for a minute. So I think with Army of Darkness, what I can say is the one thing that stands out in that is the comedy. And your T-shirts are coming, and I mean, just wait for it. There's plenty of that. There's to the bitter end. Ash will be making those jokes.
Well, we were talking about it last week, that it was probably a licensing issue, but we were also kind of thinking that if Ash threw time travel like at them on top of everything, they'd think he was nuts. Even more than they probably already do.
I'll buy your evil zombie horde.
Right.
Yes.
By the way, I went back in time. I may be the hero of time. It's no big deal.
Yeah, because the writers have said, they're like, we're not going to rule it out. Maybe that'll be a later season. We're not going to rule it out. So it's possible. I mean, the fans got this made, so if they want time travel to be back in there, damn it,
right
is happening.
Season 5, it's happening.
What are the T-shirts going to say then?
Well, and even if you ignore Army of Darkness, he had to come back somehow from Evil Dead 2. So there's something there. Ooh. Speaking of epic songs, I would totally buy the soundtrack for this series.
Yeah, it's great.
How great is it? It's so good on so many levels. And Joseph DeLuca does all of the orchestral stuff and the other, like that scene in the bedroom. That quintessential horror music. Because he did the other movies with them, and he's so good. But soundtrack. Yes,
it
let us get
also
on
makes me want to always be listening to Deep Purple.
Man, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, man.
Yeah,
so good.
Them too.
You can't go wrong. It's going to be stuck in your head. And you're not mad about it.
Not even a little
Not
bit.
even a little mad about
it. Not even a bit. So, thank you again. We're running short on time.
Probably because I told you, brevity is not my strong suit. Especially when I get excited. I'm like, and then. It's ridiculous.
Well, no, that's what we want to hear. That's what everybody else wants to hear as well. We want to know, though, what do you want to see, without giving anything away, what do you want to see from Dana for the rest of the series?
From Kelly? Sorry. No, it's okay.
What do you want to see from yourself?
I was like, from Dana, I'd like to let me tell you,
in life?
I'd like to be able to not be afraid when watching my own show. I'd like to be able to answer more than 3 questions without telling long stories. So would my family and friends. What I would like for Kelly for the show, or just for the show in general. I mean, it's hard because I already know what happens. I think what I would like, because a lot of it is actually foggy. I don't remember a lot of it. I would like for all of the characters to stop running from who they are and stop being in denial because of the guilt that they each have, even Ruby Nobi, who you're about to see, and step into their next chapter and own it the way that Ash already is. And for Kelly, I hope that she doesn't let this harden her too much, losing her mom, and I hope that she can still keep a sense of humor, and I hope she doesn't get too angry and get too revengeful, and give Pablo a few breadcrumbs once in a while, let him think he has more of a chance.
Throw him a bone every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have any more questions before we wrap?
I have a question.
Yeah. Sure.
If there is one ideal place, because now they're going on the road.
Right.
You got the trailer. If there is one ideal location, made up or real, that you could see them have a fight scene, where would it be?
I mean, I want them to go back to the cabin.
Yeah. For some reason, and I think it's because we were talking about the Evil Dead musical right beforehand, my mind immediately went to Vegas. I want Vegas Casino. I want to fight in a Vegas casino. That is all that I want.
Oh, whole new meaning to leaving Las Vegas. Bring Ash Williams there.
So get on board with that. Think of the T-shirts.
Exactly.
You know he would be like playing some blackjack, and then poof, there goes the Deadite. All right, hit me. You know that's what it was.
So good.
I'd like a wax museum.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so scary. I don't know if I could. That's good though. That's
That'd be
good.
great.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so scary.
Lex.
Uh-oh, it's a good one.
Space.
Hold on.
Where's the
final frontier.
where's the sound? Where's the applause?
That works.
That too.
We'll do that.
It's trying to make people cheer for you. That space.
You know, if Jason can go to space, why not Deadeye?
Why not?
Everything ends in space.
Why not?
Leprechaun 4.
Guys, that's how we bring in the time travel. Traveling space. We just wrote it.
All of my money.
From it.
Take all my money.
Done.
We just wrote it.
Well, Dana, thank you again. Do you have any upcoming projects that you can tell fans about that you would like them to kind of keep an eye out for?
Thank you for asking. That's very nice of you. There's one I could say. It's an independent feature film called The Mad Ones. It is in post-production. Anyone who wants to invest in it to get it distributed, please go to themadOnesmovie.com. And it's really great. There's a couple of clips online that you could see online. So, and I play a very different character than Kelly, in the best way too. Just still a little neurotic, but not nearly as tough as Kelly. So it's a softer side. And that's The Mad Ones. Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, where can fans go if they want to keep up with you online and all the projects that you're working on?
Fans can follow me on Twitter. My handle is I'm Dana DeLorenzo, and it's the same on Instagram and Facebook, Dana DeLorenzo. And I mean, what do I could give email address. What do we want here? I could give the.
I wouldn't give that.
Your books. I mean,
Twitter's a good starting and stopping point.
You need my phone number? No.
Here's my first boyfriend you can call.
My address.
Here's my
Social security number.
Medical records.
Yes, exactly. Here's it all. Take it all. I love you. Thank you for giving me a job.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. You guys are so much fun. I hope I get to come back next season.
Absolutely.
Or again.
You can come back this season.
All right, and then we'll talk more Evil Dead musical and
Heck yes.
and all the fun T-shirts that we're gonna make.
We'll be wearing the fun T-shirts.
Okay, deal. Done deal.
Last episode, we'll all just be wearing T-shirts.
You heard it here, folks.
Emma Fyffe, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
At my name, Emma Fyffe. Just follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I do both of those all the time. So I tweet about all the stuff I do. I do a lot here.
Awesome. Elena.
You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan, ALANA. I know, it's spelled wrong. Don't bring it up. And on Instagram at That Alana Jordan Girl.
I am on all the webby net stuff at the Lex Michael.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. And on Instagram. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, girl.
I finally got one.
Riv it up.
You guys, I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. I'll tweet about them, whatever. I also write articles for the movie Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Dana, thank you again
Thank you
much
guys.
for joining us.
And thanks for the fun chats and the popcorn. I had a good time.
Hopefully there's more out there.
We're about to go crush the popcorn, you guys.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to everybody on the hashtag and the live chat. We will see you all next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Let's tango!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.